they are my musicians, and they are my video artists. And I like to give you a bit of a background of these computers and why I use them. There was a day when computers were really, really expensive and really big. They filled rooms, and then they became a bit smaller, which means that they had the size of a small kitchen. And they were so expensive that only universities and big companies and the military, of course, and research facilities could use computers. And all this changed in the mid-1970s, partially as a result of the space race. Electronics became smaller, and smaller meant that it was possible to put the main ingredients of a computer into a single piece of silicon. And this was the birth of what we call the microprocessor, which already is outdated. And the microprocessor made it possible to build machines that are small. And it made it possible to build machines that are affordable and actually easier to understand and to use. And so the thing in this machine is also a microprocessor. It's actually a microprocessor from 1975. So the heart of everything you hear and see tonight is running on something from 1975. And this microprocessor was not the fastest one or the best one that was available at this time, but it was by far the cheapest. And this was very, very important part of this whole thing. Because by cheapest, it meant it was possible that a student could buy a microprocessor and could start building their own personal computer. And suddenly, it was thinkable and actually doable that you could build a computer by yourself to do things that were unthinkable before. And we live in times where we take computers for granted. We take for granted that our washing machine works, that, I don't know, everything. Synthesizers, computer games, your television, your phone. I would assume that in this room there is maybe something between 5 and 20,000 computers running now. And I mean, in your iPhone it's something like 40. And this is a very simple computer. And the simplicity is important for me, because the simplicity means this here is the motherboard, and on this motherboard there's this space here for the microprocessor, and there's some connections on the back and some connections on the front. And a single human being with a little bit of curiosity can learn what this does. And this was also already possible in the 1980s. So you can look at this and you can understand it. You cannot look at any modern computer anymore and understand it. The documentation for this thing here was already available in the 1980s, and it's 10 pages of paper. That's enough to really see what's on this machine. And everything what's there is a part that you can buy in a shop, and you can look it up. So this machine is very open. And in order to program such a machine, you need a single book that I don't find. You need to read 20 pages in this book. So this book, plus the schematics, and this computer is yours, completely. On a modern computer, you are a guest. This machine you can completely take over. And this means, even if these machines are simple, you can do amazing things with them. And unlike today, this idea of buying a machine and modifying it, changing it, adding things to it, was an integral part. And in order to add some stuff, all you need to do is, you open 2 screws here, and you do like this. This is not something you built. This is part of the machine. And on this machine, there's these two little connectors here. And these connectors allow people like me to add stuff. This machine has no sound chip. This is not a machine like the later Commodore, which already had the so-called SID chip that allows to do all these nice game sounds. So in order to make sound with this machine, you have to build your own little sound card. And that's what we did. This is our little sound card. Here are the two connectors that go to those connectors. And this is possible because these machines are so open. The term open source was not coined at this time, but in a way this is open source. And that allows to do things that I do tonight, but also things that could have been done already in 1980. And so why is this 5 machines? Because they're slow. This machine is doing a very basic sequencer, which is controlling all the others. This machine is going to do video, and these 3 machines doing sound. Each machine can only do 1 sound at a time, so in order to just do something a bit meaningful, let's have 3 of them. There is no such thing as USB or Ethernet or MIDI or anything, so we had to build our own little hardware to connect all them. This project involved a lot of work, and it started actually in Athens, not 2,000 years ago, but 2016. And it started in Athens because I played a gig at Romanzo, and the bar, which is connected to it, has one of these machines. And I learned programming on those machines back in the 80s at school, and I got this nostalgic flash when I saw it. And when I was back in Berlin, I went on eBay and I found one, and I started to explore what I can do. And I didn't think that I would end 7 years later, again in Athens, with 5 of them. But here I am. And well, for the rest, you will see what I'm going to do with it. Thank you.